So there's been this whole thing going on recently. I mean, this debate has been happening. It comes and it goes. It's like I don't know. It's like a weather or like fashion. It comes. It has its season and it goes. And that is the perceived hatred of from Africans to Black Americans, and vice versa, so to speak. So recently I've been seeing this on my algorithm, and because this channel talks about African politics and a lot of things that deal with Africa, so it's not surprising that I'll get those kind of things coming up on my algorithm. But I didn't really want to talk about it because most of the people or most of the content creators or whoever and the clips that come on are people who are not educated enough to speak on it, people who are ignorant of the migration or how difficult it is to migrate to the US from an African country, and that when a lot of Africans migrate to this country, they are on a mission. There's no time for joking. And most of these people have not even traveled the continent of Africa. These are the same people that think that Africa is a country and not a continent. These are the people that think that Africa is just a place where jungles are everywhere, baboons and monkeys are jumping up and down, and lions are on the street. These are people who think that it's always hot in Africa. All in all, these are people who are ignorant of the continent, and they fail to educate themselves for millions of years. So if they meet an African who is on a mission and does not want to twerk with them and doesn't have time for the BS, they get angry and oh my gosh, they don't like us and they call us Akata. Nonsense. Now, I'm going to address this because some intelligent people have said the truth. And so after we listen to the intelligent people who are actually making an impact and who actually have something to say, then we can discuss further. All right? So I'm going to see you guys. Just watch this.
You're going to Ghana again?
We're going to Benin, and then we're going to Ivory Coast.
What y'all doing up there?
We got invited by the government of Benin. Yeah. I don't know if you saw, but they recently, Sierra got citizenship.
Yes. Yeah.
So they really want to, that's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing about, there's a big notion of, Africans don't like Black people from America. Mm-hmm. That's not true. Of course, you're going to find one or two people, but, they how can we tap in with y'all? How can we, attract more people? How we can attract more investment? How can we get more tourism? This is something that these governments are actively trying to do. Ghana did a great job of it, but they're not the only country. We went to Rwanda. Mm-hmm. We went to Kenya. We're going to Benin. We're going to Ivory Coast. This is all invitations from private sector and the public sector. Mm-hmm. Nice. Saying look, we understand the power that you guys have in America as far as on a cultural side and economic side as well. Mm-hmm. Come, work with us. We want to have you guys here. So I just wanted to dispel that rumor because that's something that has been permeated of they don't even like us. They don't even like Black Americans.
It's not true.
That's not true.
Yeah, it's crazy. So those trips that he's talking about, while we were there, people were trying to invite us to their country. So Uganda was on the list. South Africa was on the list. They saw that we were coming there and they respect us from the platform that we built in America. And they're like, you guys are here for business. And we want people to know that there's business taking place. So when we were in Rwanda, wait, we've never even seen this before, right? Nobody's ever talked about Rwanda. All we think about is the movie that we know from the 90s. Mm-hmm. And then you get there and it's the safest, it's the cleanest place. And I'm like, wait, how come people don't know what's happening here, right? Then we go to Kenya, it's the same thing. Now Benin, it's their Independence Day. The president's like, you guys need to come. The Sierra thing happened last week, but they're like, I want you to see what Independence Day looks like here. I want y'all to be a part of it. And I want y'all to show people that there's business here. Same thing in Ivory Coast. This was somebody in the business world that's like, I love these guys. Can they come while they're on this side of the country, side of the world? And we're like, of course, we're here. Let's do it.
And mind you, these aren't even English-speaking countries. They speak French.
Yeah, I've been working on my French.
So
yeah. It's
so
just sweet Troy.
It travels across even language barriers.
Mm-hmm. So what do you tell?
Right. So from that video, we've heard what the actual truth is. Africans don't have time to hate. First of all, Africa is a huge continent that has a lot of countries in it. But I don't want to just talk, because it's important that we talk about these things in perspective and within a guideline. Because I see some ignorant videos the Africans just like us. They call us Akata. What does Akata mean? Please. Even Black Americans have words that they use to describe other people from other countries. They have slurs that they call other people. I mean, for the longest, and I was a victim of this, not a victim, but because I don't like to play victim, but I experienced this. When I was in grade school, I was called African booty scratcher until I was in the 6th grade. I was called a monkey. I used to fight Black Americans in school. I was suspended so many times because they wouldn't just let me be. My greatest allies when I first migrated to the US were white kids and Spanish kids. They were the curious ones. They were very inquisitive. Where are you from? How is your country? How is this? They wanted to ask, but Black Americans were always ignorant. All they knew was, oh, you climb on horses. Oh, just ignorant nonsense. But again, that never blinded my. That was just some people. It wasn't everyone. I had African American or Black Americans who were cool, who I admired, who I copied their dress styles, we talked, who we had, great conversations with. And up till today, from college, most of my brothers are African Americans, Black American dudes, because why? Our ideologies align. And that is the main thing I want to focus on. Now, the reason why a lot of Africans, when they come to the US, a Black American might see them and say, hey, they're not moving around with me. It's because most African migrants, when they come here, they're on a mission. They don't have time for the ratchetness. They don't have time for ignorance. They don't have for unseriousness. They don't have time for lack of discipline. They don't have time for people who are not diligent. They don't have time for people who are not goal-oriented. They don't have time for people who want to just BS all around. Because why? They're coming from a place where their father either had to sell a huge piece of land to buy a ticket for them to come to the US. So they don't have time to be messing around and to be aligned with people who just want to run the streets, drink and smoke and do all that. Not to say that is what it is with a lot of Black Americans, right? They want to align with people, whether Black Americans, Spanish or white, who are goal-oriented, who are trying to be in school, become something, make something out of themselves. So most of the time you will see that a lot of Black Americans who are not the ones making these comments are most people who are educated. They have something good going for themselves and they have African friends. Now, it's not all of them, but majority of the time you find out that a lot of people who are the ones perpetuating this whole thing are people who they don't have a path that they are moving on. They are arguing unnecessarily on the internet. Their life is not aligned with most of the African people they're trying to be friends with. And that is the thing. When most migrants come to the US, first of all, it's very hard to come into the country. So when you come here, you don't have time for unnecessary stuff. If you're a Black American and you meet an African and you're like, hey, let's start a business, or you're in college and you're going to the library every day, that African will not say, oh, I don't like you because you're Black American. You guys will probably become best friends. Most of the times, the people that most Africans don't align with are those people who they want to club all the time. Like their goal is not aligned. They're not aligned. So if someone is not aligned with what you have to do, you're not gonna be in touch with them. It's not just between Black Americans and Africans. It's just how life is in general. So it's not about Africans don't like Black Americans. It's that if your goals or where you're headed to is not aligned, and because most Africans who migrate, they have to be serious. So that heightens the picking and choosing who you want to move with. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it is the whole, they think we're Akata, this. So people have made that word to become something that is derogatory or something like that. For me personally, right, the first time I heard that word was actually in Nigeria. I used to have a social studies teacher. When he comes into the classroom, anybody that was misbehaving or making noise or running around, he would say, look at that girl is full of kata kata. It's all kata kata, mess all around kata kata. And he used that to describe people who lack discipline, who lack diligence, who were always making noise and were always unruly in the school. And then when I came to this country, I would hear people call some Black Americans with a specific stereotype that aligns with what katakata in my primary school days in Nigeria were. They would call them akata. And I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why they're calling them akata, because this is how they're behaving. So it was much a way to classify people who behaved in a certain way that will either lead you to police custody or prison, which most Africans that migrate to the US are trying to avoid. They don't want any katakata in their life. They're trying to be peaceful, get money, relax, and do what they're supposed to do and take care of their families back home. That is their major goal. They don't want no katakata in their life. So for me, and for some people I know, that word akata, now, some people, there are other meanings to it. Some people will talk about that it's a Yoruba like word in Nigeria and stuff like that. So there are different meanings to that word. So when a lot of Black Americans use it as a benchmark to justify African hate for them, you're just being emotional and you're being irrational. I'm sorry, you are. You're not thinking logically, because even within the continent of Africa, there are words that various countries used to describe other people in different countries. It's not like a thing to wallow and be like, oh my gosh, they hate us because of this. It's just how life is. People are always gonna have a descriptive. It's just like here in America, for example. A lot of people, when they meet a Nigerian, they always think he's a scammer. Now, Nigerians can be emotional and say, oh, you guys think I'm a scammer, and they start crying and yelling about it. But what do Nigerians do? They're like, oh, okay, well, is that what they're. But we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have this, we have some of the richest Black people in America are Nigerians. So all these things are just unnecessary stuff that people want to linger on and talk about, which makes no sense. Africans don't have time to hate Black Americans. Africans don't have time for any kind of hate, especially when they're in the US or in the UK or wherever. They're here to better their lives. So if you're not bringing betterment, money, education, or any of that, they're not going to associate with you. Their parents are even going to tell them, listen, anybody that is going to bring about you having to go to court, having to go to the police, run away from them. And sometimes they will give a profile of those kind of people. And profiling is, people profile all the time. And if you fit that profile description, then hey, try and change your life. Don't blame people for like seeing you and running away because you fit a profile. If that's not you, then it's not you. So like all this nonsense. Now, a lot of women are coming online, Black American women, oh, don't go to braiding stores that are owned by Africans. How stupid could you be? Like, this is nonsensical, right? It's just another agenda to separate Black people from doing what they're supposed to do and just coming together and doing something right. Is everybody gonna like you? No. That is not privy to only Black folks. I think in human nature, everyone is not gonna like you. Some people are gonna dislike you. Some people are gonna have disdain for you. Doesn't mean nothing. So, all in all, I do not think Africans don't like or even have the time not to like Black Americans. I think it's something that people who fit certain descriptions are using to kind of edify themselves, to feel relevant, and to make themselves kind of have a justification to hate or to bring about separation, because misery loves company. So if you're miserable, you're gonna want to ramp up other people to join your club so that you guys can all be like, oh, Africans hate us. But nah, man, that's far from the truth. And these folks from Earn Your Leisure, they've said it all. They go to Africa all the time. They are being invited by government, by presidents, to do things because they have a value to add. If you don't have a value to add, most Africans, they associate with themselves with people that can add value to them. Most of my Black American friends, they're my brothers. They add value to my life. We've known each other since college. If you don't add value to my life, I don't want, it doesn't mean I don't like you, but I'm not gonna like have nothing to do with you. And again, if you don't align with what I want in my life. So yeah, man, it's just BS. And if that's how you feel as a Black American, that Africans don't like you, too bad, because you're missing out. Because I guarantee you, if you step into the continent on any country in Africa, nobody is even gonna say, oh, you're Black American, oh my God. No, people are gonna embrace you. They're gonna tell you welcome home, and they're gonna love you, because Africans are the most loving people on earth. And that is fact. So you guys need to stop this nonsense, and stop like parading this whole rubbish about Africans not liking Black Americans, because it is actually not true. This is Food Chest. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed something. Let me know if I offended you. If I did, let's talk about it. Peace.